and welcome back everyone, and today I have for you a tiny table talk of The Challenge Season 35 Total Madness. Now, this past week's episode was 38 minutes long without commercials, which is very different than what we've been getting this whole season of The Challenge. And a lot of people have talked about the edited version, saying it was very choppy, that some of the storylines didn't make sense. And some other people have been saying to download a VPN, go to MTV Canada and watch the unedited version of this week's episode. Now, if you do not trust a VPN or don't know which one to download or just trying to look for other links, I have went to the subreddit MTV Challenge, and there is a user who posted just the edited out scenes, and it was posted by user Akrisos. I hope I'm saying that right. And it's about 14 minutes long. I will be going through the scenes that were edited out. We first begin with everybody coming back from the challenge, and we get the faux relationship of Dogan sitting on the couch cuddling up, and Rogan gets a confessional saying how he cannot trust Dee. Now this right here plants the seeds of the blind side, and when Johnny asks him at Purgatory, hey, do you give me the green light? Rogan is talking about how he cannot trust his quote-unquote number one in the house. Then we move over to a pool party / prank on the guys. We have Rogan, Kyle, and Bananas in the pool, drinking beers, splashing around, trying to get the girls of Melissa, Dee, and Jenny all with them. Now, this sets up Kyle and Rogan actually being friends, as we've seen from the beginning of their challenge careers how they had been vendettas, and we haven't really seen them like hanging out with one another this season. So when they were working together in the daily challenge, it really put a question mark on the whole situation, because I was like, didn't they dislike each other? Why are they now helping each other out to get into the tribunal? And we get to the point where we see a little bit more of the Melissa and Dee friendship that we have not seen this whole season. Melissa has not been in the show a ton at all this season. Until this episode right here was her time to shine, as she makes it into the tribunal, has a lot of power. Then we go into a little shower session where we get one of Anissa's best confessionals of the season, talking about how the shower session did not last long. Then we move on to Bananas and Jenny talking about wanting to blindside Dee. They're sitting there on the track portion in the kitchen / rec area, and how Bananas hates how she's been walking around the house ever since she won last season. Jenny confides in Bananas, saying that she would also like to take a shot at Dee and blindside her as well. Now let's go on to the daily challenge called Flag Down, where this is a huge blowout between Dee and Bailey. They are paired up, and essentially Dee is trying to sabotage Bailey any way she can in this daily challenge. She wants Melissa to win, be in the tribunal, so she does anything she can possible. And what I mean by that is that she is throwing elbows, she is using her fist, she is ripping flags out of Bailey's hand, and this leads to a huge blowout during the daily challenge, during their round, and afterward, where they are just fighting with one another, yelling at one another. Then we get to the tribunal portion, where they bring in Dee, and she is pissed. She is going after everybody. She says that there's no hard feelings with Banana, but that she has hard feelings with Josh because she really valued Josh as a friend. Yeah, okay. Both Bananas and Josh are saying that we're going along with the plan. You're the quote-unquote burner vote. But in reality, Bananas and Josh have their own system going on, their own plan going on. And after the tribunal, that's when Josh and Dee are talking, and she is trying to manipulate Josh, knowing that he's a very emotional guy. She is crying. She is saying that what was said in the tribunal really hurt her feelings, and that she doesn't know if she can trust Josh. And then she storms off, and then Kyle is trying to help Josh out, saying that, hey, don't let her manipulate you like that. And then Josh walks away, and he is just distraught. He is double questioning himself, double thinking, overthinking whether or not to say her name and blindside her. Speaking of the purgatory floor, let's go over there, and that's when Rogan gives the okay, and that's when she looks over at Rogan saying, hey, you can't even look me in the eyes, you're such a snake. And that's when he looks at her in the eye and says, well, I guess we have to wait for Josh's vote, which of course Josh says her name, sends her down to go up against Maddie in the tunnel vision elimination. And once she wins, Melissa is the only person cheering for her and celebrating for her as everybody else was going for Maddie and wanting to see Maddie come back into this game. And that's essentially all that was really cut out of this episode. Now I have a few comments from my Thursday's review and recap of this episode of The Challenge Season 35 Total Madness episode 11. And the first comment I have is from Alexandria Greer, who says, first, that Black Mirror hoodie is fire. Yes, thank you so much. That is Target clearance at its best. I mean, it was the only one left on the clearance rack. It was just my size, and I love the color of it. I love Black Mirror, and I was like, I have to have this. No matter how much money it is, I am paying for this hoodie. The next comment is from Hannah Jones, who says, I couldn't believe they disqualified them. They always work together on the challenges, and I never thought it was fair, and now they want to DQ them. I completely agree with you. She's talking about the flag down daily challenge where 3 teams or 3 duos were disqualified for helping each other out. And this is really a question mark moment in my mind because earlier on in the season, during the foam challenge, they were able to help each other out with no problems. Maddie even got in the tribunal after getting help from Corey and some of the other people on that daily challenge with her in that round. And even during the rules explanation during this daily challenge, TJ had his voice overdubbed saying how his final isn't going to be team-based, it's going to be solo-based, and that he wants to see them work hard and fight for their win today and to not work together, which you have to question, did he actually say that during the rules explanation? And the mic didn't really pick him up, so they dubbed it over later to best clarify it for us at home, and that the people that work together just totally disregarded that and thought, hey, they're not gonna see us, so we can just do whatever we want? Or did they not say it during the rules explanation that day and decided at the end of the daily challenge, seeing the actual like markers and seeing how many points that actually one person got and how it would have been such a blowout if they did that, that they needed to disqualify them, and they put the disclaimer later on in the edit instead of saying it to their faces right during the rules explanation. I feel as though the latter is more plausible than, say, them just totally disregarding the rules, but you never know what could happen or what was really said during the rules explanation. But yeah, I agree. It's definitely like confusing that they could help each other out on certain daily challenges but not in others. The next comment comes from Mackenzie, who says, I think Melissa should have gone in. I think this challenge actually could have been built for her because she's a small girl and all she had to do was dig, and I want to see them in an eating challenge. I completely understand. I think Maddie was super freaked out once she heard what the elimination was because she's so claustrophobic that she had this fear about her when she was like talking about it right before going in. You can even see her eyes like bugging out when they put the roof on it and latch it down. I think that this would have been the perfect time for Melissa or Nany to go in there and get their red skull if they were consistently digging, because it felt as though that Maddie at one point really slowed down and even stopped digging at one point and was just trying to like catch her breath as her windows were fogging up really badly. So I do think that this would have been a perfect time for anybody to really go in and get their red skull, specifically Melissa or Nany. The next comment comes from Bruno Alex 1995, who says, I watched online the full episode and it was way better. A lot of things made sense now, like the Dee versus Bailey and why Melissa was mad at Bananas and Josh. P.S. Am I the only one that thought the elimination was lame? The girls' eliminations have been pretty bad so far. I totally 100% agree with you that the eliminations have been kind of weak sauce, especially the women's elimination. I thought this one was probably good on paper, but just from filming it, from us on the audience point, was just like, oh my gosh, like, are they gonna get out? At one point, we couldn't even see the 2 women in their boxes, and it looked as though both of them were just taking a dirt nap at one point. Niculo, 2 hours prior to filming this episode, says, sadly, the edited version is on MTV Canada now. So even if you have a VPN and are going to try to watch it today or in the future, it seems as though that MTV is now throwing out the 38-minute version as the official version. But what did you think about it? Let me know that in the comment section below. And while you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more challenge content and more content in general. I'm gonna be going through and trying out all different kinds of stuff that I've been wanting to try out but haven't gotten the ability to. So I'm gonna be working out more on that. So thank you so much, and until next time, peace.